My name's Bradley Childs, and I'm an artist, and my work is kind of a constant dialogue between myself and materials. The materials I'm using are usually quite volatile and sort of, they kind of have a mind of their own, which makes my role as an artist much more of a facilitator than this kind of traditional art making or art maker in general. I guess I'm sort of providing certain situations in the hope to kind of tease out and encourage a response from materials. It's a lot like alchemy, recreating situations that happen naturally but in a fraction of the time. And there's a big kind of safety aspect with a lot of what I'm using in my studio, because I've got loads of kind of chemicals where two are mixed together. It makes chlorine gas or mustard gas or thermite. So you have to be really aware. That's probably quite a big challenge. But my biggest challenge is like my own mind. It's like a constant spinning cog, hundreds of ideas a week, and you kind of have to sieve through and archive the good ones. So I used to try and make everything, but it's just not really that sustainable. You can't really go into any work with a preconceived idea or plan of how you want it to look, because it just won't happen. If you use the same materials, same process, on the same day, it'll be a totally different work. But that's the kind of beauty of it, the embrace of the accident. Yeah, I don't have any music or anything when I'm working. It's just silent, and 10 hours could go by, I haven't eaten or drunk, and I've got a work in front of me, so it's kind of like a meditation. When I'm kind of in that state of kind of pure creation, my mind's totally blank. I'm not thinking about anything outside of my studio, which obviously is kind of a reduction of pain and ultimately kind of replaced by pleasure. There's no anxieties, you're not thinking about anything else. It's quite intuitive practice, and it's only when the work's kind of made and I've lived with it in my studio for a while that I start unpicking kind of more contextually what it's doing and where it positions itself. But usually it's in between kind of at least two categories of art, whether that's painting and sculpture, sculpture and furniture, or the functional object, and sometimes architecture. But it kind of raises a lot of important questions, a lot to do with space, how the object sits in space, reacts to space, how the audience move around the space in relation to the work, whether an artwork with a function stops behaving as art and the environment it's placed in affects how you read the artwork. There's all these kind of questions that provide this kind of undercurrent to my practice. It's kind of hard to put into words something so intuitive and comes from this kind of inner urge and feeling to kind of verbalize it. It's heavily dependent on what I'm sort of doing in other aspects of my life, what jobs I've got, where I've been on holiday, what I've seen, all kind of these constant building blocks and evolution of this timeline of my practice. Exploration becomes the research, especially with materials. Kind of this constant exploration at a certain point is just material research. But obviously I'm doing kind of more online and reading books about what previous artists have done, what my contemporaries are doing. It's so important to be kind of aware and to know where your work's positioned. But as well, just taking a walk through nature or a field and seeing a form is probably the most important research I do. I like my works to kind of remain ambiguous, so the person can kind of project what they want onto the work and see what they want. There's no kind of set narrative forced down someone's throat. I don't think there's any kind of superficial gratification. It's all kind of from this really honest and genuine place, this kind of urge I have to make. I like to think of it as like a timeline of myself and kind of this constant evolution of the work, so I guess they kind of have to talk to each other. And I don't kind of use materials maliciously. I wouldn't use a particular material because it's worth more or will make the painting sell for more money. So I think it's all kind of this kind of genuine fulfillment.